Devin Cooley, it seems like he's played really well and a little bit unknown to a lot of fans. Like, what have you seen of him on and maybe off the ice where we get a kick out of his quotes and stuff? What's he like off the ice and what have you seen of him?
He's very much like his quotes. He's a really good, you can say fun-loving, kind of cool guy to be around. So you look at him as a dressing room player where I think he's going to be quite enjoyable for people to be around because every day seems like a good day and he makes people around them feel good about themselves. And in regards to his play on the ice, I think what you saw up in Edmonton is really what he is. He's a big body that's very athletic. That's the one thing that Jason talked about a lot when he came in. The quickness that he has for a big man is off the charts, and I think that's what allowed him to make some of those 10-bell saves up in Edmonton.
And we saw he struggled last season. Like, what made you sort of hone in on him or think that he would be a fit not up here?
Jordan Sigalet and his goaltending department do an amazing job. So it's not. I don't think you ever necessarily look at the body of work in regards to numbers. Jordan does an excellent job of actually digging in and watching a lot of video on goaltenders, and they do a lot of homework on these guys. So they were pretty confident when he came around that he was very high on our list because of the work that Jordan and his staff put in.
As you went back through the film in Edmonton, did it fit the mold or the template of what you saw both in Seattle and here in Calgary?
The first bit of the game, for sure, the first period, and then I thought once Edmonton got going, we took on a little bit of water, and which is to be expected. We had a younger lineup up there, and their big guys started to play in the third period, but the clips that we were able to show our players this morning, there was a lot of good things away from the puck, and we're going to continue to do that because we really want to hammer on that side of our game early on, and then we feel like if we get a pretty good handle on dealing with situations when we don't have the puck, everything else kind of falls into place.
What have been your impressions of Sam Morton so far?
I've been very impressed in a lot of different ways. I thought he was probably our best player in Penticton in the games that I saw. And he's carried that through his practices with us, and he's carried it through the games that he's played for us. So not really knowing a lot about him, the Wrangler coaches talked about how impressed they were with him, with his hockey sense and his ability. But I've quite liked him because I think he's a very intelligent player. He's gritty, but he also has a skill set that allows him to play with really good players. So when you watch a guy on the power play like he's been on the last little bit, he makes plays under sticks. He sees the areas where he can pass pucks to. So you see the sense or the skill side of him, but he's also a competitor that is positionally sound, so it allows him to kill penalties too. So there's a lot there that we've liked so far, and he's done a really good job of having a good day every day, if you will. He hasn't had a bad day yet.
We kind of lump everyone who hasn't played NHL games into the prospect pool, but he's an older guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where do you see the maturity in him?
Well, I think that's probably why he hasn't come in eyes wide open. He's come in to make people notice him and to earn a spot on a team. And that's because he is a little bit older than some of the other guys for sure. But that, I think, it just comes down to maturity.
How have you seen have you gotten what you wanted to see with Pospisil playing down the middle?
No, I want to see him. So tonight he's playing in the middle again, different line mates, but I want to see him in the middle of the ice live. And then I'd like to see him again with Mantha and Hubie again. So I just want to see if he's able to do it without losing what makes him a really effective hockey player for us. We all know he's got that great speed. He's in people's face all the time. He's first on forechecks. Nobody likes to play against him, but I want him to play that way as a centerman. So it's just a little bit of time. I want to give him every opportunity that we can to be comfortable in that position without losing his identity.
Are you seeing everything you need to see from Coronado so far? I know it's early, but
another guy like Sam, Matt's been really good. And again, you can see the work he put in over the summer, which I love because it shows how much he wants to be here. But in both games, I feel like he's been one of the more noticeable players, of course, not just because of the points that he's gotten. That's this time of the year, it is what it is. But it's everything else that's come along with it. He looks like a very confident player for me every time he's stepping on the ice where he feels that he can have impact on the game. So really happy for him and the start he's had.
Can you give us a list of all the guys who didn't put in the work this summer?
I know you say that, but maybe.
Not us, not including us.
But That, to me, that's where the NHL's changed the most. Like, it's rare when you have a guy come in and you look at testing and you're like, what did you do all summer? It just, because they're different. It doesn't happen anymore. I think it's part of the way the game is now. It's so fast. If you're not able to keep up with it, you look silly when you start again. So then it becomes, well, this guy's eating and taking care of himself this way, I have to do the same thing. So I think it's just been years and years now of players changing, and now it just becomes the norm. I mean, maybe last point I'll make on it, we were done 10 days. Michael Backlund was back in the gym after our season last year working with Ricky. So it gives you an idea of, they don't take the time off that we used to when we played. It's full year job for them now. Yeah.
With Coronado, with everybody healthy right now, it kind of looks like your top 9 is set. Could you see him starting in a fourth line role?
I don't think our top 9 set. I mean, I don't think that's fair to say for the guys that are working to make an impression. So we've told them they have opportunity to push people out of positions. In Matt's situation, there's all sorts of different ways that you can look at him. If you had to use him in a fourth line role, I've said before, I don't think he's a fourth line player. But in certain situations, you can use him there and then also use him on a power play. Or if someone's having a night where they're not able to keep the pace of the game, you can bump people like that up the lineup pretty easily. So there's different ways that you can look at it for sure.
Right. And those meetings you had yesterday where you sent some kids back to junior, and you'll have them sending some guys to the AHL at some point. Like, what's important for you to impress on those players and sort of the last conversation you might have with them for a while?
It's more about trying to get them to understand how it's someone said it here before many times, an everyday league where they have to recognize the strength that the players have and the pace that they play at all the time, especially the good ones, the best players. And it was pretty, they never want to be told they're going back to their junior team, but Muse and Misa, the smiles on their face for having a chance to watch McDavid play up north, it's something that they were like, yeah, okay. I kind of get it. So we want them to take the experience and really recognize how hard they have to work to eventually put themselves in the situation where they can be playing against someone like that full time.
Like when you demote someone, it's different than the exit meetings at the end of the year where you're doing a lot of listening, right? Mm-hmm. And these ones, they don't really have much to say, do they?
Not a lot, no.
It's you giving them messages to take with them.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. All good kids.
Sam Honzek was just talking about how much confidence he's feeling early on in the first couple of games, opportunities. Obviously, some of the work would indicate that that's how the confidence comes, but what have you seen in the 2 games he's gotten in? Well,
we talked about him 3 or maybe 4 or 5 days ago of how he's gotten better every day. These 2 games that he's played, you would put him in the category with Matty. Like, he's been very noticeable in both games. And as a young guy, that's what you want to do. So if you start having a little bit of success, and it's always, the young guys always look at, I found a way to chip in with a point or so. But now all of a sudden he feels like, hey, I can actually do things at this level that I was able to do at another level. So he's using his speed now. He's taking pucks to the net. He's trying to be first on a forecheck. You really notice him trying to have impact on games. So for another young player that we have, we're very happy with what he's done so far. It's a lot of great signs that we're seeing from him.
Have you seen Marty have an impact on him as kind of taking him under his wing or anything? We talked about them training together over the summer.
Yeah.
Have you seen that relationship kind of grow?
Well, I was going to bring up the training part of it. Like, there was a few times where I would assume Honor was like, I think we've done enough here, and Marty was like, no, we're not done. And that's a part of it, right? So he's learning from a guy that, Marty had to go through all the steps to get himself here. He dealt with some injuries. Same thing as Honzek did last year. He had to prove his way through the American League. Eventually, convince people here that he deserved a chance to play, and he's run with it. So there's a lot of similarities between the 2 guys for sure.